What's up, guys? My name is TechnoTuner, and today I'm bringing to you one of my favorite decks to play that I've played on Master Duel for a while, that I've played in person for a while, and it's my Drytron deck profile. This deck has a lot of capabilities of going very wide, setting up board locks, and capabilities of just swinging for extra OTK damage. This deck is a lot of fun, it's highly explosive, and can do a lot of stuff. I've taken this to locals a couple of times and had a lot of success. Today, I'm going to bring to you and show you the different variant that I play versus what a lot of people are playing. So let's go ahead and hop right on into it. We'll go ahead and start out with the actual main deck. First off, I play 3 Drytron Gamma Eleton. Like all the Drytron monsters, they can't be normal summon or set, but they can be special summoned by attributing a ritual monster and or another Drytron monster. Drytron Gamma, however, when it's special summon, can revive another Drytron from your graveyard, but you cannot special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set the rest of the turn. You activate this effect, which is very helpful for this actual deck. Next, we have the Ritual Searcher, so it searches the ritual spell, not the ritual monster, but Drytron Zeta Aldehibah has the ability of getting you a ritual spell when it's summoned. Next, I do play 3 of Drytron Alpha Thuban. This card is great for getting you the ritual monsters from your deck to your hand and being able to further continue your combo. The next one and final Drytron I play of the main deck is 1 Drytron Delta Altice. This card allows you to get a card draw by revealing a ritual spell or ritual monster in your hand, and then lets you just draw that card. Once again, you can summon all these by attributing 1 ritual monster in your hand, on your field, or 1 Drytron monster on your field or in your hand. So that's all the Drytron monsters that I play for this deck. What about the rest of the normal summons, or just summons in general? Well, I play 3 Diviner of the Herald, probably one of the best normal summons in the deck. This lets you send 1 fairy monster from your deck or extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, increase that this card's level by the monster's level until the end of this turn. If this card is tributed, you can special summon 1 level 2 or lower fairy monster from your hand or deck except Diviner of Herald. We're not really worrying about that second effect, because what we utilize this for is to get our Herald of Arclight or our Elder Entis into the graveyard, just so we can further either pop a card on our opponent's board or get a ritual spell from our deck to our hand. Up next, as I was stating for the lock, I do have 1 Vandy's Ruler and 1 Jinzo. Vandy's Ruler makes it to where your opponent cannot special summon monsters, and Jinzo makes it to where your opponent cannot activate trap effects and negates all trap effects on the field. This card is a lot of fun. I've set up a board where I have both of these plus a ritual monster and an Xyz monster, and just fully locks the board. Okay, well, speaking of rituals, what do we do for rituals? Well, this deck plays a lot of 1-ofs, however I do play 1 2-of, which is Cyber Angel Edatin. I play the 2 Cyber Angel Edatin because if this card is tributed, you can make all ritual monsters you control gain 1000 attack and defense, but if it is ritual summon, you can add 1 ritual spell card from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So it's a great way to get that spell card back into your hand and keep ritual summoning without further issue. For the 1-ofs, I do play the 1 Cyber Angel Natasha. It's just a great way to get another monster on the board, and you gain life points. You can negate an attack when a ritual monster is targeted. And if this card's in the graveyard, you can banish 1 other Cyber Angel monster from your graveyard, target 1 monster your opponent controls, and special summon this card and take control of that monster. So it's a great way just to steal an opponent's monster. I play the Cyber Angel Ben 10. If this card is tributed, you can add 1 light fairy type monster from your deck to your hand. I will more likely up this to 3 as like I did in my current build. It's great to be used, but currently it's at 1-of. However, for the rest of them, I do play the 1 Magic-Key Mech Musket Bato Buster. This card basically gets us our Omni Negate Trap, which is really great for the deck. It's also a 2000 summon, can be used for the ritual spell to allow you to ritual summon another monster. I do play the 1 Dogmatica White Knight, or White Knight of Dogmatica. If this card You cannot, if this card is ritual summoned, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck while it's on the board. If your opponent activates a card or effect, except during damage step, you can send one monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and if you do, look at your opponent's extra deck and send one monster from it to the graveyard. This card gains the attack equal to the half of the combined attack of those monsters sent to the graveyard until the end of this turn. So it's a great way to send Entis to pop another card, or just to send Herald of the Arclight to get a card from your deck for recovery play. He's also more of a finisher board than a actual board setup. Next, I do play one Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon just for that extra damage and for double piercing. And then I play the one Drytron Meteonis Draconids. This card can attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls once each. Then during your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can banish monsters from your graveyard whose combined attack equals 2,000 or 4,000 and target one face-up card your opponent controls for every 2,000 attack. Send those cards to the graveyard. It is not a destruction, it is a send, which is very important. These cards are a lot of fun, but these two do so much damage, it helps just to beat through and break through boards that are usually a major pain for the deck. Well, talking about the actual deck itself, let's take a look into the spells. Well, we play 3 Cyber Emergency. This card is basically our searcher for any of our actual Drytron main deck monsters that are not rituals, because it lets you add 1 Cyber Dragon monster or 1 Light Machine monster that cannot be normal summoned or set from your deck to your hand. If the activation of this card is negated by an opponent's card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can discard 1 card and add this card to your hand. However, you can only activate 1 Cyber Emergency per turn. So it's a great way just to get right back, even if you don't want it in your hand. You can bait out a Ash Blossom or anything that could interact with it to negate. Next, I do play the 3 Drytron Nova. This is just a free special summon of a Drytron monster from your deck. It cannot be the ritual monster, but it can be one of the little guys that can help you further extend. You can't special summon monsters except monsters that cannot be normal summoned or set for the rest of the turn. That's perfectly fine. We don't do that really with this deck. Next, we got 3 Meteonis Drytron. I run this at 2 in Master Duel. I prefer it to run it at 3 currently with this deck because you're going to need that spell a lot more than you think you do, especially with the actual deck setup. This card is really great because you can add it back to your hand from your graveyard by targeting 1 Drytron monster you control. It loses exactly 1,000 attack until the end of your opponent's turn. If you do, add this card to your hand. But the way this ritual card works is kind of nutty. It doesn't take levels. It takes into effect of the machine monster's attack. So the machine monster's total attack must equal or exceed the attack of the ritual monster that you ritual summon. And then you tribute that monster to ritual summon the monster that has the equal attack or less attack than that monster. It's a great way to establish bigger boards with it and keep the combo going. Up next, I do play the 3 Preparation of Rites. You can add 1 level 7 or lower ritual monster from your deck to your hand, and then add 1 ritual spell from your graveyard to your hand. So this lets you get into your Cyber Fairies or your Dogmatica cards a little easier, or your your Magic Key Mech Musket as well. Next, for one-ofs, I do play a lot of one-ofs. I play 1 Drytron Fafnir for the actual field spell. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Drytron spell or trap from your deck to your hand, except Drytron Fafnir. So it'll get you your Drytron Nova or your ritual spell. The activation and activate effects of ritual spell cards cannot be negated. Once per turn, if a monster is normal or special summoned face up like a control Drytron monster, you can reduce that monster's level by 1 per 1,000 of its current attack for the rest of this turn. You can only activate 1 Drytron Fafnir per turn. That's perfectly fine. I don't usually use the last effect to lower the level, but I do use it to protect my ritual summons and be able to add a necessary ritual spell or trap. Drytron spell or trap. Up next, I do play the 1 Pot of Avarice because you'll go through a lot of monsters, so you'll need the capability of shuffling them back in, and it gives you an additional draw too. I do play the 1 Foolish Burial and then the 1 Harpy's Feather Duster. These two are just great because this lets me set up a Drytron I have in graveyard And this one lets me just get rid of troublesome spell or trap cards that I don't want on the field. I do play the one instant fusion, as I do play a couple of instant fusion targets, such as Millennium Eyes Restrict and Thousand Eyes Restrict. Also, the Elder Entity Entis is another way you can summon that. Then, that is all I have for the spells of the deck. The one trap I am playing is the Magic Key Unlocking. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card while you control a Magic Key Ritual monster or a Magic Key monster, special summon from the extra deck. Negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Then you can declare one attribute. And if you do, for the rest of this turn, all face-up monsters your opponent controls become that attribute. This allows for a lot of capability. So if you run Protoss or the other one for Arch Nemesis, it can allow you to do a lot of different things. But for this deck, I don't really run that. So I usually try to stay with the actual machine archetype for this deck. That's all I have for the main deck, and it's just a great way to set up a actual spell trap negate if you need it. Anyways, like I was saying, into the extra deck. For the actual extra deck, I play one Millennium Eyes Restrict and two Elder Entity Entis for my fusions. Millennium Eyes Restrict is great because when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can target one effect monster your opponent controls or in their graveyard. Equip that target to this card. This card gains attack and defense equal to that equipped monster's attack. Equipped monsters. Monsters with the equipped monster's name cannot attack. Also, their effects on the field and their activated effects are negated. So it's a great way of getting around hand traps. Elder Entity Entis is just our free pop. Next, we have Herald of the Arclight as our two synchro monsters. This is just our send, so we can get a ritual monster or ritual spell from our deck to our hand when we send it to the graveyard off of Herald of the Arclight. Or not Herald of the Arclight. Sorry. Diviner of the Heralds. I am off today. Anyways. We have, finally, our Xyz monster lineup, which is a lot of fun to use. I run a lot of different ones than what most people would. Example, I run one number 54 Lionheart. It requires 3 level 1 monsters. This face-up attack position monster cannot be destroyed by battle. When you take battle damage from battles involving this card, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the amount of battle damage you took. If this card battles an opponent's monster during damage calc, in either player's turn, you can detach one Xyz material from this card. Your opponent takes any battle damage you would have taken from that battle. There's been a couple times where I've activated the effect on a Pep, and it just the Pep's attack declaration, where they take the damage as well, and we go to game 2, as that is a draw. Next, I do play the one Lyrilisc Nightingale. It's just a great way to get into our Zeus line and allows for direct attacks. I do play the 2 Drytron Mu Beta Fafnir. As this card, when you ritual summon, you can attach a material from this card as a monster is required for the ritual summon. Also, if this card is Xyz summoned, you can send one Drytron card from your deck to the graveyard. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card while you control a machine ritual monster, you can detach one material from this card, negate the activation if you do, destroy that card. It's just a great way of getting an extra negate on board. Up next, we do have the Down There Magician, which is basically our way into our Zeus. It gives us an extra material. I do play the Gaia Thunder Charger, which is a funnier tech. You can also use this card by using a rank 5 or 6 Xyz monster. He usually doesn't come into play. I used him a lot when I used Beatrice for the rank 6 plays. However, I will probably end up cutting him as I cannot really utilize him currently. He is a good Ultimate Slayer target. However, in this case, if you're looking for a spot to fill, that would probably be the one. Then finally, I play the Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. This card is actually a lot of fun. It does just allow you to send all cards on the field to the graveyard by detaching 2 materials from this card. Once per turn, if another card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, or by an opponent's card effect, you can attach one card from your hand, deck, or extra deck to this card as material. It's pretty nice. The one thing I will state is another option to run. You can run Typhon instead, so you can have a backup in case you need to use Zeus. That is all the Xyz monsters I run. I do run 3 additional cards in the extra deck, and they are my Link monsters. Those cards are a little fun to utilize. One of them is Hip Hop Hushigan. This card is just a light attack booster, where all light monsters gain 500 attack and defense, and all dark monsters on the field lose 400 attack and defense. If it is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one light monster in your graveyard and add to your hand. Next, I do play the one Herald of Mirage Lights. When a spell or trap effect is activated, you can send one fairy monster from your hand to the graveyard and negate the activation. If you do, destroy it. This card in its possession is sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card. You can add up to 2 ritual monsters and or ritual spells with different names from your graveyard to your hand. So it helps you get recursion back. The final card, because I am currently missing it, would be my Nightmare Unicorn as a way to shuffle back cards into my opponent's deck. It is a lot of fun to utilize within this deck because there's capabilities of moving forward with it and being able to do other effects. So that's all I have for this deck profile, guys. But as I've stated, this deck can do a lot of capabilities. It has a way to really establish negates. It has a way to establish a lock on board. It has a way to establish a bunch of big beaters. I've had the capability of where I went against a danger player with Jinzo, Vandy's Emperor? No, Vandy's Ruler. Yeah, this card, so Vandy's Ruler, along with the Magic Key Mech Buster and Drytron Move Beta Fafnir on board. And it basically is just hard for the opponent to get through. I made an entire danger player discard their entire hand when they were trying to activate danger effects to just really get over my Vandy's Ruler. But either way, it was funny because they couldn't really do anything about it due to the Move Beta Fafnir monster negation effect. Outside of that, I've actually went against Sprite Tri-Brigade and locked their board fully out. There's a lot of things that you can do. I've even locked out Labyrinth. But once again, as I've said, this deck has a lot of fun memories for me personally, and is one of my favorites to play on Master Duel. Outside of that, I hope you guys did enjoy today's deck profile, and I hope to see that you guys do enjoy this kind of content. If you do, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. I do appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one. Have a great one.
Is it okay if I'm to say I'm catching feelings from all the dealings? Am I astray? What do you say? How are you feeling? Is it the same?